Hey, good afternoon, sir.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
We are going to ask you 6 questions.
Fantastic.
In these 6 questions, we would like a very honest answer.
Okay.
As honest as possible. Okay, the first one would be, tell us about yourself, please.
Well, okay. It's a long story. I live in Bogota currently, but before I have worked in places like a supermarket and my father's legal company. For example, after university, after I graduated, I worked in a supermarket in London, and then after I worked for my father's legal company, obviously the connections, they got me the job, but I recently moved to Bogota after a year of traveling.
Okay. Can you tell us why did you travel?
Well, small little family problem. I lost my job as my father's personal secretary at his legal firm, Davis and Rothschild's Legal, based in London. And I decided to take my money, my inheritance, and I went to travel the world. I traveled to Argentina, where I learned a little bit of Spanish, and I lived in Brazil and learned a little bit of, oh, did I say Argentina? I meant Peru. And after I worked in a hostel in Brazil for a little time, so I am conversational in Portuguese, but not great.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, how about your teaching experience? Can you tell us about your teaching experience?
Well, I arrived in Bogota last year after I ran out of money, and I have lived here in Chapinero for a long time. But I recently, when I arrived, I had got a job at American School Way here in Chapinero. I have worked there for the previous year, and I was very popular amongst the students, if I may say myself. So I have experience teaching speaking classes from a native, obviously, very important, to a group of Colombian young people.
Okay. We are going to ask you a series of situations or possible problems that you might have.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the first one would be, what would you do if you have a student who has problems with his or her pronunciation?
Okay, sir, that's a really good question. Well, obviously, I would prefer to have a one-on-one tutorial session with that student. That is my preference for this situation. I would talk to that student and try to communicate and teach one-on-one and practice repetition and pronunciation with this student.
All right. Okay. And how about your availability of time? Would you rather work during the day or would you rather work at night?
Well, sir, I'm a little bit strapped for cash at the moment. I have no money, so I have no particular preference for hours. I can work in the day or I could work in the night. For me, I have no preference.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, now, what would you do if you had a student who is not motivated?
Oh, well, I've had many of those. Luckily, I was blessed. I have students who all wanted to be with me, so I'm very lucky on that front. But in the chance that something like this would occur, I would preferably try to monitor that student as best I could in my classes. I would encourage them to sit at the front, and I would ask if they would prefer to have some one-on-one time with me at the front of the class. So I would monitor that student. That for me is very important.
Okay, sir, I think we are done here. Thank you very much for your time.
So when will I know about the job?
We will call you, don't worry.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.